Yo, what is up guys? My name is Serge. I'm here with you today. I'm the guitar player in the Goldy lockS band. I'm a content creator. I do a shit ton of things here on this channel, and thank you all for being here. Today we're going to talk about the rise and founding and legacy of Epitaph Records, one of the record labels that influenced a lot of my playing and writing throughout the years by various bands that have released some of their best work on this label. Now, this label was founded by the guitar player of Bad Religion, Gurewitz, in the late 80s and 90s. He ended up leaving the band finally to pursue this label full time, but ended up returning to the band in the mid 2000s after they had left their deal with Atlantic Records, returned the band to Epitaph, and they've released like 7 albums on Epitaph since then. But that's not even their best stuff, okay? Bad Religion's release on Epitaph, Suffer, which is arguably their best album in the punk scene, was released on Epitaph, and after that they pretty much, as some people might like to say, they sold out, but they just did business as they should, as usual. Epitaph is located in Los Angeles, California, I believe in Silver Lake to be exact, which is a super hipster part of town. I used to hang out there, so I know. Epitaph signed some awesome bands, some of your favorite bands, and honestly, Epitaph got their biggest stride probably when they released what still, I believe, is the biggest indie release of all time, Smash by The Offspring. And the reason I say I think it still is because of actual album sales, which is something that we don't see today in 2020. But that album sold over 10 million records on an independent record label. Now, keep in mind, bands coming out at the same time as this were like Green Day, who released Dookie the same year. No Doubt, I believe, released Tragic Kingdom right after that on a major label. And they're pulling like 10 million album sales at the same time that The Offspring put out Smash on Epitaph Records. Now, Smash is like the production super raw. I mean, it sounds like underground punk, man, like, and that is like a punk record. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, it's pop punk. I don't care. It's punk. It sounds punk. You can say, I mean, I'll agree with you that there's stuff after that is totally pop punk and like commercial stuff, but Smash is legit, all right? And there's no bad songs on the record, and it's pretty dope. And they pulled 10 million album sales. It's still the top selling indie record of all time, I believe. If I'm mistaken, leave it in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure I hit it on the money. You gotta give Gurewitz some credit for literally tapping into a scene that was developing at the time, and he pretty much took advantage of that, and he kind of had the leeway to do so because of Smash getting released, because the same year they released Punk and Drublick by NoFX, and I believe they also released So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes by NoFX after that. Rancid Outcome the Wolves, which was like a massive record for the 90s punk scene. And keep in mind that, once again, he's competing with bands like Green Day, who came out on Warner Brothers the same year. Okay, so The Offspring released Smash in 94, and Outcome the Wolves by Rancid came out in 95. Green Day also released 2 albums, Dookie and Insomniac, in 94 and 95. And these bands are pulling the same album sales on Epitaph and as Green Day is on Reprise Records. So that's a pretty big deal, guys, for an indie label. This dude knew what he was doing, and also this guy produced most of the bands on the label. So he is a fucking savage, okay? A lot of these niche labels that come out that are like independent, they don't really last long because they're like tapping into what's going on. Like, I'll give you a couple examples, like, and I'm not dissing these labels because I actually like a lot of the artists on these labels, but they were kind of a product of its time. Odd Future is one of those where like 2012 they really hit it big with a huge artist they had, and now they've kind of like died out. Like Frank Ocean's done different stuff, Earl Sweatshirt's done different stuff. Another label I feel like is like this is kind of like Victory Records. They really were more popular back in the early to mid 2000s when they were signing emo bands and like post-hardcore bands, and like Fearless Records is pretty much taking over that scene now, because I feel like they've lacked to keep up with what new stuff is coming out and signing bands. You could even say the same thing about, and honestly, a lot of these are hip-hop labels like TDE, And honestly, I will say this: a lot of those labels that were a product of his time don't really need any more artists, because usually the artist founded the label. Like Tyler the Creator made Odd Future, and that's his thing. He doesn't really need to sign anyone if he doesn't want to. But I'm saying with Brett Gurewitz and Epitaph, he is literally kept tapped in to what is cool and hip and what is about to break in the scene, and signs all those bands before they're even popular. And he like hits it right on the money, because every single release on Epitaph is literally like the biggest record that band put out. And he did the same thing in like 2013 when he signed Bring Me the Horizon, and they put out Sempiternal, which was like their biggest massive hit. Like I was in high school when that came out, and that was like huge. Every single teenage girl was listening to that record, and that was like the first time that you saw teenage girls listening to metal. You're just like, what? Because they were doing like, dude, if you listen to Bring Me the Horizon, they were doing like hardcore shit. Before they released Sempiternal. And then all of a sudden Sempiternal comes out and you just see all these chicks going to their concerts, and all of a sudden you don't want to listen to Bring Me the Horizon anymore. But nonetheless, he has signed bands that have literally had momentum. Falling in Reverse is another band that I've never really been into, but Ronnie Radke that's a guy that you want on your label. He's gonna bring you money, he's gonna keep you relevant, and it's the same shit, okay? Other bands is like A Day to Remember has been on that label. They've had massive success to the point where they have their own festivals now. This guy has been tapped in, and even recently, in recent years, he's signed bands that are like kind of more indie now, like Joyce Manor, A World is a Beautiful Place, and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. Whew. Long band name. Now keep in mind that Brett Gurewitz has even resurrected bands from the dead, like the Descendants, who put out Everything Sucks in 1996. This guy literally took advantage of what was going on in the 90s and just made it poppin'. Descendants hadn't put out a record in about 10 years until they put out that album, and they got signed to Epitaph. They put out their biggest album release ever, Everything Sucks. Sold a shit ton of copies. They were playing huge festivals, killing it. Even Green Day's had a distribution deal with Epitaph. All American Rejects have released stuff. The band All, which is like the Descendants side band. There's literally so many bands. Too Close to Touch, Touche Amore. There's so many bands on this label that have hit success because of this label. I can't even name them all. But this label's legendary. I have mad respect for Epitaph. When I was like a young kid playing in bands, I was like, my dreams to get signed to Epitaph, bro. Because like every band I liked was on Epitaph. So I have to give it to Brett Gurewitz from Bad Religion for just staying tapped into the scene, always releasing dope records and producing dope records. Hell of a producer, great guitar player, great businessman. So if you've never heard of Epitaph and you're watching this video, which is probably slim chances to none, but maybe, make sure you go check out the catalog of all their bands, because it's pretty epic. If you like this content, make sure you hit subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. And if you want some more exclusive content almost daily, head over to our Patreon and check us out there. We're releasing content daily. I also have a Subscribe Star page that's all music content and podcasts and stuff. So whatever you're into, if you want some exclusive content, and we will show you some love. So thanks for being here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you, and peace out.